Ooh, big episode. We're diving right in.
We're excited.
We're
excited.
I feel like jumping right into it because I feel like it's easier.
Same. There's no pressure. We're just like.
Yeah. So we had we just recorded episode 6 technically. We watched it back and we were like, what is this disgrace of an episode? The episode is about positivity and we sound kind of negative. So
I think we just weren't in the right headspace before doing it, and it showed more than we thought it would.
Yeah. So we decided it might be a blooper one day, but
you might see it one day.
But it's not going to live just yet. No. And maybe I'm saying this because I'm hyping up that episode for one future moment in time, but anyway.
We just really want to focus on putting out, especially in the very beginning of this, we really want to focus on just putting out stuff that we really are proud of. And so if something we put some time into something and it turns out not as good as we thought it was, that's okay. We're going to move on. So
right.
We're on technically episode 7 today, but you're not going to see 6.
Yeah.
Yet.
But it's kind of a blessing in disguise because it really pushed us to think about what we really want to do. And, the original thought of this podcast and the thing that Jazz and I connected on for so long was music. So that's why Wavelength exists in the first place.
Totally.
And she has this amazing concept of, how about you?
Sure.
I'd rather you say what it is.
Okay. So I think about a year ago, I started working on what I've called my funeral playlist, and it's not as dark as it sounds. I just kind of thought about, I just started reflecting on some of my absolute favorite songs of all time, and then I started putting them together into a playlist, and then I realized, what could this be called? And I thought, it's kind of just, it's kind of a funny, to me, it was kind of funny to call it a funeral playlist. But then when I really started thinking about it, I was like, okay, if I really wanted to show people who I was, this would be what I would want to do. And I'm such an organizer and I'm such a planner. I want to have control over everything. So I thought, let me just get all my stuff in order. Let me get all my favorite songs in order. So I started creating this playlist. It's grown to be probably about 50 songs long now. And we started chatting about our next episode topic. And this had been kind of written down in my brain. And I thought, okay, obviously we don't have time to go through the entire playlist, but what if we pick 10 songs each and just kind of share and see what comes from that? It turned out to be a lot harder than we thought it would be.
Yeah. Can I also just say, when I mentioned the idea of funeral playlist to some people, they were immediately like,
no,
what?
When you say that, it just comes off so negative.
But it kind of surprises me that people would even, because as soon as you know what it is, it's like, oh.
It's just your favorite songs ever. It's just your favorite songs ever.
I just love the name of it. That's what, I don't know. Maybe it is dark, but what you decided to call it is hilarious. I love it.
Exactly. That's kind of what I wanted to I just laugh at the topic, but also I'm not someone who cringes at talking about, I don't know. I don't get uncomfortable about talking about these things. I'm fine to chat about it lightly and it doesn't bother me. So.
Well, just last night we were talking about the cremation process.
We were. It's darker than you think.
Yeah.
I like to plan my stuff, so I will be planning everything for
and like you just said, how 10 songs. I would challenge anybody that's listening to try doing this, because it is so hard to choose 10 songs. You might think like, oh yeah, there are 10 songs that formed my music taste and whatever, but once you sit down and try it, it is really way more difficult than you would think.
And I haven't even lived that much life. I can't even imagine later on in life, but it felt like really killing off some of your favorite children, picking the ones that could stay, the ones that had to go. It was really hard, but I tried to cover all the bases. But there are some big names that are left out that I'm still a little bit upset about, but It's just for the fun of the episode.
There are going to be some people who are mad at me for my choices, I'm sure. Maybe for you as well. I don't know. But it was funny because as I'm reading some of these to people I know, and I think they were a little surprised that there were certain people not on my list. Mm-hmm. But we're talking sentimental value.
Totally. Memories, nostalgia. Mm-hmm. I haven't shared mine really with anyone. I mean, it's public on Spotify, but you don't know which ones the 10 that I picked today. But some of my friends know. Stoked. Yeah. So we haven't shared this with each other at all. This is a complete, like, genuine reaction. And we're just going to see.
We're going to go back and forth.
We're going to go song for song, see what comes from it, chat about maybe the stories that are behind it, and just go from there.
And we thought it might be kind of interesting to, if you mention an artist that is on my list, I wonder what the chances of that are. But
I think there's one.
Yeah, there's definitely one. So we might just stay on that artist for a little bit to make it a little more seamless. But
totally.
How about you start us off? What's song number?
Ooh, okay.
And these are in no particular order.
No order. That would just have been impossible to do. So these are just randomized.
Yeah.
Okay. The top of my list, my first song is Dreams, Fairy Tales, Fantasies by A$AP Ferg. With Brent Faiyaz from the Floor Seats album. That's my first song.
Starting off with one I don't even know.
And that's like what we kind of were thinking too. We were wondering how many we wouldn't know, how many we'd already be familiar with. So
true. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so that's my first song, and it's wow, I really wish you've heard it, but it's
it's okay.
It's whatever. It is one of my favorite songs ever. I can blast this song in the car at any time, and it's a jam. It's an absolute jam.
So it's like a bop. It's like something. Is it lyrically really good, or is it kind of no?
Actually, yes. Actually, it's kind of like a love song a little bit. So it has, it's so fun to sing along to. I would say it's the most upbeat song in my entire list. I'm definitely a sad song kind of girl. Like, I love to just sing. I love a good ballad. So this is the most upbeat one that I have.
I love it.
It has a 90s feel. It really reminds me of actually the intro of the song really reminds me of Sky's the Limit by Biggie. So it has a very kind of 90s vibe to it. Very, I don't know, just like an effortless cadence. I love A$AP Ferg's voice is really good, and he's kind of singing in this one, so I really like the sound of his voice.
Yeah, I was gonna say I do love A$AP Ferg for his flow. It's
so cool. I love listening to him.
Some of the really popular stuff, I guess, can get a little repetitive for some people, but overall, I think he's overlooked when it comes to flow.
I think so too. And so this song, this came out in 2019, and Brent Faiyaz is one of the features on it. Mm-hmm. And this was I feel like this was when he was still not super popular yet. And so when I would listen to it then, I was like, oh my gosh, who is this person? Like, the voice is so good. So it has an amazing voice. And so
what else does he feature on, Brent Faiyaz?
Oh my gosh, a bunch of now he makes his own music.
Yeah. But I don't think I've heard of any of his. Well, I've probably heard some of his stuff, but I think he's more well known for some of his features, right?
Yeah, and I can't think of them off the top of my head, but that would have been my favorite one at the time. Okay. But he definitely started by featuring in a lot of stuff, and then now he's put out, I think, 2 solo albums, and they're super popular, especially on TikTok. Like, the girls really, he's kind of like a.
I'm so pumped to hear this song.
Anyways, there's harps. The harps, and specifically those, like the strings, the harps, so good. It just reminds me of being in university, because me and my friends would get ready in the bathroom, like about to go to the club, where I would usually be in charge of like setting the music, setting the vibes as we're like doing our makeup and all this stuff. And we would just sing this song so loudly. So that's my first one.
Wow. If that's like a makeup, like pre-club type song, and I haven't heard it, like the things that my sister used to play, I heard a lot of bangers came out of those moments.
The bathroom, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just Yeah, it's like a slower but still upbeat R&B absolute vibe. That's what I would describe it as.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my first pick. Starting off
Fire.
extremely strong.
Okay, I know I'm wasting time by asking this maybe, but I'm curious.
No, there's no wasting time.
Yeah, when did that song come out? Like
2019.
2019. You said
Yeah.
that already.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
On his album Floor Seats, which the rest of the album is a little bit too intense for me, but that song is so smooth.
2019. Okay, so this would have
too
been
long ago.
after. What's that like big song that he had?
Work.
Yeah. So that
And
would
also
have been years later.
And also the other one that I can't think of.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised because I don't know how much I remember from 2019. Like, when did Lamborghini come out? That was a banger.
That was a banger. That was from the let me see. That was from ASAP Mob, like their group together.
Mm-hmm.
But that was probably like 2017, maybe.
Okay.
Lamborghini. Cozy Tapes came out in 2017.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're switching gears a little bit because my
I'm ready.
song is not even close to that vibe.
It's okay.
Rosanna by Toto.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Okay.
So when I moved to Calgary, I had these friends that I hung out with every Thursday for dinner, and this was like in the height of COVID. So we would see each other on a weekly basis, and this one friend of mine was always playing new music that I had never heard, a lot of classics.
Mm-hmm.
And he played guitar, and his music taste was phenomenal. And one day, I think we were driving to the mountains. He invited my brother and I along to the mountains, and he had all these different songs going on, and he was screaming Rosanna at the top of his lungs while we were driving. And I had, up until this point, I had never heard the song. So I this was one of the more recent picks. I thought it would be fair to give myself like, a time frame of like recent stuff and old stuff. But this has been at the top of my list. I think I listened to it like 100 times when I heard it the first time. I don't know why. Gosh. It just sparked something in me. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it really, I think it just reminds me of that time when we were going for those dinners during COVID. And I know in Ontario, it was kind of like a lot of things were shut down.
But you guys were living your best in Alberta.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah. I felt very thankful at that time.
It's amazing.
Rosanna reminds me of that. Yeah.
And that's when you first moved out there?
It's close to when I first moved out. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe like 6 months in.
Yeah.
I've been here for almost 4 years. So
yeah. So the vibes were high. Like you were exploring, you were
making new friends,
going out.
Yeah. And this friend of mine, he was so outgoing and social, and he always had us over to his place, and he's like bringing out the guitar. It was like every vibe that you would want it to be.
The guy with the guitar at the party.
Yeah.
He was that guy.
My favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What's your number 2?
Okay. My number 2 is Ribbon in the Sky by Stevie Wonder. Complete different direction.
But it makes sense. I feel like
But it makes sense.
Some soul.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I had such a hard time even narrowing it down to Stevie Wonder has probably like literally 50 top hits, and I think I have over probably like 65 songs saved by him. So picking one was extremely difficult, but Ribbon in the Sky is like a family classic. I don't know.
Okay.
It's well known in almost every. I just feel like every Black family loves Ribbon in the Sky. But so and I also just I had to pick something from Stevie Wonder because he's literally one of the only legends that we have left here with us today. Like it's dwindling. I love too many of his songs. I had to pick one. This one specifically I love because it has like a 2.5 minute piano solo where he just goes off. There's so many vocal runs where I just want to sing along with it, and he has a couple key changes that I really like.
Ooh.
It's just a really soulful song. It's
interesting while looking through some of these song selections, how your default might be to go for one that, I don't know, is more well known, or
yeah,
but then you decide to go for the one that you personally like in this moment more than the rest.
Yeah, I always go in that direction. I'm never picking a top hit. I'm always picking an underdog song, because that's where I want to just dig for the gems, the hidden gems in the album that people don't listen to. So
yeah, now that I think of it, this probably says a lot about my music taste in general. Like, you're probably going to know most of these.
That's okay.
No, it's that's just how I like.
Yeah,
I think that's just the music I listen to, you know?
I think you're just such an more upbeat person in general. If I had a prediction about your list, I think it would be really upbeat. Whereas I love like a slower song, which is not going to be the top radio hit. So by default, I'm always not going to be picking the top song.
Yeah.
So that's my second pick, Ribbon in the Sky.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
My second pick is, well, again, these are no particular order.
Yeah.
But Take It Easy by the Eagles.
Oh,
so we're
great
going
song.
Another big hit. I think this was a hard one for me to choose, because I think there are other songs by the Eagles that I like more now.
Yeah.
But my mom, her father was like really into the Eagles, and I want to say it was somewhere around 2016, and this is crazy, but I don't think I had heard, or at least I hadn't digested Take It Easy up until that point. And I thought, because he had listened to the Eagles so much, I really wanted to see what that was all about, and maybe see if I could get in his mindset, because I didn't know him very well.
Yeah.
And it was like I immediately understood, and that was my favorite song for years. I had a hat that had Take It Easy written on it, and then I got a second hat because I lost the first one, and I love to represent this song, and I love to play it. It's one of my favorite songs by the Eagles, but I think it's like the perfect representation of, I don't know, where I was at that time, like just happy, you know? Good time.
It's like a happy road trip kind of song.
Mm-hmm. And it was amazing. Just like that reminder that you needed every couple days, like, to actually take it easy. So
the lyrics really did remind you.
Yeah.
My favorite Eagles song is Witchy Woman, I think. That's if I were to pick one.
So good.
Yeah.
I mean, do we go honorable mentions like Desperado? New Kid in Town. Oh, what's the one that there was? The other one that I was really stuck between was this. Oh, Lion Eyes.
Lion Eyes, yeah.
What's that? There's one more.
That's like my mom's favorite song. Hotel California?
Anyway.
Question mark.
Actually, that's probably lower on my list, because that was like, that was one of the ones I heard very early on in my life. Like, my parents didn't play a lot of the Eagles, and that was one of the ones.
It got old quickly.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it. Love the Eagles. Okay. My fourth. No, is this my fourth? My third.
Third.
This is my third pick. Okay. My third pick is an unreleased Kendrick song called Prayer, that was leaked in 2019, and it is literally one of the best songs I've ever heard. I know I said that about Dreams, Fantasies, Fairy Tales, but this is like one of my favorite songs I've ever heard. And it was leaked in 2019, and I found it on SoundCloud. And when I heard it, I like tears to my eyes. It was so good.
Wow.
It's also honorable mention. I really wanted to pick Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst from Good Kid, Mad City, because that's like my second favorite, but I had to share this song because it's so good. And you're probably not going to be able to find it anywhere, so I'll send you a link on YouTube. But
I have my ways.
Okay, you have your ways. Amazing. So I heard it for the first time in 2020, and it kind of just made me realize like the level of genius that Kendrick actually is, because the lyricism is insane. I just feel like there's a reason why I love conscious rap so much, and it's because when I listen, because of these songs where I listen to the lyrics, and they have such commentary on the world and the state of our world, and it's so interesting to kind of dissect. And
sometimes it's like things that you think yourself, but you just don't know how to articulate it.
Exactly.
And when you hear it in that combination of tones and pitches, it's like, and
you're
melodies.
Like, yes, thank you. Exactly.
Like that's how I heard that in my head. You know?
Yeah, the emphasis on certain things, like you can just feel it. So that it starts with like a really heavy piano that just, I don't know, it just would like sit on my chest. It was so good. The melodies kind of has like a funk vibe, I guess. And then the lyrics are really insane. So the first verse specifically touches on like Michael Jackson and his childhood stardom career. And then it kind of touches on like the abuse allegations and things like that. And then I don't know, it's really interesting. And then the second verse, he quotes the date that MLK did his I Have a Dream speech on Washington. And then the kind of the idolization of like him as a token figure, and where like he touches on the fact that he did have imperfections. I don't know if you know this, but the FBI took recordings of him and like bugged his house and caught him cheating on his wife, and that was a huge thing in the news at that time, and people, you know, trying to like defame him and take away his platform. So he talks about that. And then the third verse is kind of like just a commentary on society in general. And one of the lyrics I really like is at the end where he says, "I can't help it if we jump into these bodies and you call them a god. Just know that Earth is a rock without the voices of art." And so he's kind of talking about how we idolize celebrity to such a godly level where people aren't allowed to have any flaws or any mistakes. And he's like, I don't claim that, you know, I'm not a perfect man. And so you can like my work, but you know, don't expect me to never make a mistake. And so if we were to disqualify all those people who had, you know, were flawed human beings just because of certain things, like they still created the, you know, the best art in the world, or maybe the change that we saw in the world, or different things. So I guess he's touching on separating the art from the artist a little bit. And
that's really interesting.
It's such a good song. It's really powerful, and the piano that just like repeats the whole time is so powerful. So that's my third pick, and it's my favorite song ever.
It's interesting because you know, you're not supposed to have idols if you believe in God, right?
Yeah.
And I wonder if he's trying to say that a little bit, where
totally, yeah. I'm sure he is. I'm sure there's a piece of that too. I definitely agree with that. And
that's a great way of like depicting it without actually saying those words, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's insinuated for sure. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it came out in 2019, and I feel if you listen to it, I think you'll feel like maybe you haven't listened to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, but it seems to fit that album. And so I think because it was leaked, he didn't put it in that album. Yeah, that's the newest one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So people have theories that like because it was leaked, a couple other songs were leaked as well. Like I think there were 3 in total, but that one should have gone in that album because it just fits the energy so well. I'm really sad that it's not, because every time I look for it, it gets taken down and then it's in a different key, and I just don't want to listen to it when it's not the right key. So anyways, I just kind of went on a bit of a tangent, but
no, it's okay.
That's my third pick.
Okay. So we're staying on Kendrick Lamar.
I'm so excited.
And I think I'm gonna say the song at the end, because like at the end of the story.
I guess I won't know how to guess, but
yeah,
I won't be able to.
So I would say up until the point of this album releasing, I wasn't really into hip hop, and it was all like kind of a new world for me. I had always kind of stuck to rock type stuff, a lot of folk type stuff at that time, like Mumford and Sons and things like that.
Yeah.
And there was a kid I played guitar with in high school, and we were in a couple bands together. We did a couple live things together, and he was very much into the same type of music as me. I think a lot of my influences came from him. And Brian, shout out to you. And this was a song that he showed me, and when I saw that he kind of like recognized how great this was, it just opened my mind in a million different directions. I would say it changed the way I even approach listening to music. That's how big it was. So the song is Money Trees and is just an absolute bop, right?
One of the best.
I could not pick from this. Like, this album has so many good songs. I think Swimming Pools, the extended version. That's what I was going to guess.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorites. But I mean, I can listen to that front to back any day, and it's
from start to finish, that album is a masterpiece for sure.
Yeah. So, but a lot of the picks that I'll have here are kind of, it's like how I've seen other people react to music has excited me, and I think that's also has something to do with like being very interested in the performance aspect of music, and seeing the crowd's reaction to things is so like it just, that's what really gets me when I'm absorbing things. So I love listening to live stuff and all that. So when this friend of mine, Brian, like lost it about this song, I was right there with him.
100%.
This is so good. Let's listen to it again 4 times.
Literally, that song is guaranteed to bring out a certain energy. And I think even in the Spotify Dissect episode, when they did his last song standing, they picked Money Trees. And I think one of their main reasons was because those two guys had seen Kendrick live like 3 or 4 times, which forever
Lucky.
Jealous of that.
Yeah.
But they said that without a doubt, every time that song specifically would get the biggest reaction from the crowd, and the energy would be insane. So you're on the mark with that. It's
crazy.
One of the
best. That gave me goosebumps actually. Just knowing that. Yeah. I think that song kind of takes you on a little bit of a journey, like, I mean, like a lot of his songs do, but there's something about how it feels like a banger, and then there are some moments where you come back down to earth for a little bit, and then you go back.
Yeah.
You go back to Mars.
It's very true. And when the female vocals come in, it's like, be the last one not to get... Oh, so good. So good.
This is why I wish we were listening to it right now, because whenever you can do that, please do.
I will.
Because when that part comes on, my whole car is shaking.
Trust me. Yeah, really wishing we had some copyright deals going on, but listen at home.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, that was 3. I feel like we're kind of moving through this quickly.
I think so too.
Okay, number 4 is She by Harry Styles from, I know.
Okay.
I know, we're all surprised. From the Fine Line album in 2019. And I was not a One Direction fan. Let me just set the record straight. I was not a One Direction fan. I am now, but
oh my Lord. I can't believe you just said that, because I used to say to people, I will not listen to One Direction. When I heard Night Changes?
Night Changes.
I love that song.
That is such a good song. Such a good song.
Even when the night changes.
It's like, wow. What? So yeah, I can't believe I'm saying this on the podcast, but yeah, those are my 2, like Taylor Swift and One Direction. I put a hard no on, and I've brought One Direction into my life, and I do not regret it. So my friend Sarah put us on to Harry Styles when he started making solo music, and it is amazing. He is an extremely talented artist.
I have to do a deep dive on him then.
You will have. Oh my gosh, you need to do a deep dive. Like, he has a style that you will love.
Okay.
So do you know the feeling when like a song just can't be loud enough? Like the headphones are not enough. I need it to be like in my body.
My bones
like
are not shaking. The floor is not shaking. Right.
My body,
Classic
like
quote.
It needs to be I don't know. It needs to be louder. So that's what I feel when I listen to that song.
That's a great way of describing a good song.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that with me for the rest of my life.
I'm like pushing the headphones into my ears even further. It's not loud enough.
And not just because AirPods suck and you have to do that.
No, exactly. So my friends and I, when the Fine Line album was coming out, we had a listening party in our apartment, and we had a feral reaction. We were just I wish that we recorded it because we were on a different level, but that song specifically, so amazing. The pace is so steady that it just, I don't know, you just have
you know what? I think he does something really different than a lot of other pop. At least it feels this way. I don't know the technical side of it, but a lot of music will be directly on the grid, and so many dance artists or like EDM, it's just like that pumping is like very mechanical, and it's happening at the exact same time every rotation. So something about his music is that it's constantly pushing, in at least in the popular music that I've heard, it feels like it's not on the grid. It feels like it's kind of, I don't know, it's consistently pushing. I don't know how else to describe it. Instead of it being like set on the
static or like consistent on the
you're saying that the pacing is good. I wonder if it's because he doesn't stay directly on the grid.
You might be right. I'm gonna think about that when I listen to it next. I don't know.
It's something that a lot of artists are doing. Like Daft Punk is one of them, where they, you could stick to the metronome the whole song, or you can kind of be a little bit off so that it makes sure that the pace of the song continues to grow rather than go backwards or stay the same. But
that's cool. I didn't even.
There's a lot of different ways you can approach that, of course, but I don't know. It's just something that is interesting about his music.
That is cool. I'm going to pay attention to that more. But in general, the song is really beautiful. The lyrics are beautiful. There's like I think it's like a 7-minute long song. So there's probably a 3-minute guitar solo at the end of it. And it's really, it builds. It's so good. The bass is super strong the entire song. It just, I don't know. Anyways, love him. He is a female bass player in his band, and she's so good. Whenever we would watch live, we were obsessed. So we would watch live performances and analyze his entire group. And that's my pick. It's so beautiful. Such a good song.
I love me a 7-minute song. I really do.
I can respect always a 7-minute song.
It's amazing how we're all over. Like it's everywhere. Gonna go all over. Yeah.
Everywhere.
That was pick number 4?
It was 4.
Okay. So I think I like to preface the song before I reveal what it is. It feels better. So I had watched you're going to know what it is right off the bat. I watched Saturday Night Fever when I was a kid. I was devastated by the movie. I thought it was shocking how, I don't know if you've seen it, have you?
I haven't actually. That might be bad, but I haven't.
I think it's fine. Although it is a great movie, I would recommend you watch it.
Okay.
My grandmother and one of her friends were watching it one night when we were sleeping at their place.
My gosh.
I'm going like way back.
It's literally the sweetest thing I've ever heard.
But it was kind of like a traumatizing movie.
Okay.
Because there's like some murder in it, I believe. I'm not 100%. There's like, and I was a little kid. So, and there's a guy that jumps off the bridge in New York and like kills himself, and it's kind of like a devastating thing to watch when you're a kid.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's kind of the way the scene unfolds is kind of like ridiculous if you watch it now, but back then it was wild.
Yeah, it's true.
Anyway, so I decided to rewatch this movie as an adult because I thought, I didn't watch it in the correct context when I was a kid. I had no idea what I was signing up for. Yeah. And right away, the music is amazing.
The whole score of the movie?
We're talking 70s. The whole score of the movie is the Bee Gees. I think. I'm not 100% sure that it's all the Bee Gees, but there are some good Bee Gees features. Yeah. So I had watched this movie, and I was grooving the whole time I'm watching the movie. I immediately think to myself, I should have been born in this era. I love to dance at the clubs. I love, like, when people are kind of just, like, fist bumping and all those things. I want to be, like, holding someone and dipping them and twirling and doing everything that dancing, like that you imagine dancing would be.
Yeah.
And when I'm watching this movie, I'm just like, that's me.
Yeah.
John Travolta is me right now. And I'm just like, yeah. So I got on this huge Bee Gees kick.
Love the Bee Gees.
And I started showing my brother some of the Bee Gees songs, and he started like listening heavily. And then one day we're in the car together, and he puts on Nights on Broadway by the Bee Gees. And I thought, I hadn't heard this song yet. I listened to all the greatest hits, the one in like however many sittings, but I didn't really think about Nights on Broadway that much.
Okay.
And then when I heard that was one of his favorite ones, I was like, this song is so good. And that's how that came to be. Nights on Broadway. That's my fourth pick. There's not much more to be said about it, but that's another recent
banger,
one. Maybe
yeah.
Probably in the last 2 years, that one became a staple. Like, I've just loved disco and that kind of funk and all those things ever since. That probably stemmed from Daft Punk, but anyway.
That's a very fun pick.
Yeah.
I like the energy there.
Yeah. I could have picked any of the greatest hits, but
yeah,
that was the one that stood out to me. So
wow, nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, number 5. Okay, number 5 is Out Getting Ribs.
Mambo number 5. Sorry.
The way you just completely
cut you off.
Yeah, it's fine.
Sorry.
It's all right.
I think I'm doing that too much in this episode.
I think we're both excited.
Let you breathe.
I'm like jumping in.
Yeah,
it's all good. Number 5 is Out Getting Ribs by King Cruel. Do you know? Do you listen to King Cruel at all?
I'll tell you my first experience with King Cruel.
Yeah, please do.
It was kind of like a first and last. I believe it was.
Okay.
Oh God, I'm about to bring up Tyler the Creator again, but
it's fine. It's fine.
King Cruel was playing before the set started, in the middle of the set, and I Shazammed his song.
When?
Yeah.
When?
Yeah. When we were there. We were both there.
Oh, like Taco was playing him in the set?
No, it was like the like in between those sets, like just the house music.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I Shazammed it, and whatever his most popular song is
it's probably Out Getting Ribs, or
doesn't sound familiar.
Maybe it's Easy, or maybe it was Baby Blue. I don't know.
That might be it.
Okay.
And that's about it. I think I downloaded his whole album because I love downloading a whole album.
Yeah.
Found out that I didn't really like everything.
Yeah.
And stuck to the to the one I had.
The songs that you find at a concert, specifically the songs that are playing out loud, are never as good as when you get home. This has happened to me and my friend Maddie a couple times. We were at A$AP Rocky and we were Shazamming all these songs. We're like, this is amazing. I think we were just in a great mood. And that's why. Right. And then we got home. We're like, this is kind of trash. It's not good. Not to say that this is against King Cruel, because I actually love him. So, that's
such an incredibly deep voice.
That's what is so. He's definitely like he's like the most unique voice that I have in my listenership, I guess. But I started listening to him in high school. My friend Sean and my friend Nicole introduced me to him, and we were in kind of a alternative era, so we were all.
Did you get on any Rex Orange County around that time too?
Yeah, but then I got off of him because then he got too popular, so it was like no.
It's not cool anymore.
Not cool anymore. I just have so many really, really sweet memories of like being in my truck with the windows down with my friends in the back in the summertime, and it's like sunset and we're driving around, and then we go and like maybe we smoke in a forest, maybe we like I don't know. It's so many super nostalgic memories for me.
Yeah, and
that riff that starts the song just like is magic to me. It just, I don't know, it's my favorite. And I saw him this year for the very first time, and I cried at that concert because it was just like brought every memory back. And it's so hilarious because yeah, people definitely wouldn't expect that I would listen to him because it's such a hilarious, deep voice.
I mean, I'm not totally surprised, but I am surprised that you
like
were
love him,
really on him. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it was also so fun to make fun of his voice and like and impersonate it when you're singing the song. So like when you sing, you can't just sing it normally. You have to like really embody him. So it's funny. Yeah. So that song always gives me goosebumps, and I really wanted to pick Ocean Bed from that album, but Out Getting Ribs is just the first song I ever heard, and it was my favorite. Okay. And yeah, that's my fifth pick.
I'll definitely give him another shot.
Honestly,
that you say all that.
Honestly, do. Some of it is too much for sure, but I still listen to it and I enjoy it.
Yeah, sometimes there's those artists that like when they pop up on your playlist, that you would just never skip them, right? You might not love them, but I don't think you'd ever skip them.
Never. Yeah, I'd never skip him. Sometimes you're with the wrong person. And then he comes on, I'm like, okay, sorry, this is not really your vibe.
I want to do an impression of him, but I don't know enough lyrics. I wish I could.
I can do a very good impression of him, but it would be so embarrassing.
No, you got to do it now. Hey.
Runs through my blood. I can't. It's too much. Well, my song was love. It's like...
That was a phenomenal
at the concert,
impression.
I'm literally singing in this voice. Everybody's singing in this voice. It's too much.
Right. That's so funny.
He's just like the ultimate. He's just the ultimate London chav.
Yeah.
Archie. And it's Archie Marsh. You've never heard of a chav?
No.
Oh, okay. It's a British slang word for like a slimy.
Oh.
For
a slimy bloke.
Yeah, like a grungy little guy. He also has the most London, like Archie Marshall. It's just too much. Archie. Anyways, he was also 19 when he put that album out. You can just feel the teenage angst. Like anyways, I'll move on. That's my pick.
I think that's a solid pick. Just a unique one, and maybe worth diving deep for a lot of other people who might have heard of him and not listened to a bunch of his stuff. But it also, the way that your environment was, I think that impacts so much of what we listen to, right?
I think if I found him today, I wouldn't be into it, but it's specifically the memories that I have attached to it. It's just special.
It's amazing. Okay, well, my pick number 5 is Jesus of Suburbia by Green Day. And specifically... That's going
to be new to me.
Really? Okay. Specifically the Bullet in a Bible live version,
that you had on CD, that you had the DVD for.
Yep, it was a 2-disc CD and DVD, and I think I watched this live concert like every other day for I don't know how long. It came out in 2005, but this song, whenever I revisit this song, it always makes me feel a million different emotions. Like I'm just stoked on life, but I'm also like feeling very nostalgic, and it just takes you on a journey. It's another one of those long songs, like 7 or 8 minutes.
I think we really love those.
I think so too.
Yeah,
that is one that I just that one was not hard for me to pick. I think that was probably my easiest. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and but the thing about Green Day in general, which would have made this a difficult thing to choose, is this like the live performance aspect of Billy Joe, who's the lead singer of Green Day, and I compare him to Freddie Mercury when it comes to performing. So his stage presence is amazing. It's definitely influenced. Like it has so much impact on how I see music, right? Just the way that the audience reacted to his performance in that DVD it's just infectious, and I couldn't get enough. I wanted to be him for the longest time. Like, who is this guy? He's
okay. We're talking about idols, like
exactly. But that's what he was for me.
Yeah,
it's actually funny. We were living in Barrie at the time, and they were doing a huge tour, and they stopped in Barrie, which is incredible that such a massive band was in our hometown. And it didn't even really, I don't know if I even really understood the gravity of that at the time, because now if Green Day was in my hometown, I'd be losing my mind. So my parents didn't get tickets, but they drove the whole family to this Costco parking lot to listen to the concert outside. And
that is so funny.
It was funny, but it was the most formative thing that ever happened to me.
That's so special.
Yeah.
The fact that they did that.
Yeah. They opened we had a Town and Country Chrysler.
Yeah.
and we opened the doors, and we could hear the music really well. And I don't know, it was just one of the most amazing experiences of my childhood. And I remember when we were leaving, we're like driving past the stage, but there's trees blocking everything. So I'm like thinking that I can see the stage, but I still don't know to this day if I could actually see him. But my family tells me I was like crying my eyes out when I saw him.
Oh my God.
Like just losing my mind, because at this time he was an actual idol.
Yeah, he was your guy. Were you like 8, 10?
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
No, I think I was 9, something like that.
Nice.
And I went to school the next day. Sorry, this story goes on so long.
No, it's okay.
I went to school the next day, and one of my friends had gone to the concert.
Oh no.
And it kind of made me jealous.
Yeah.
But I look back now and I'm like, the way that I saw, or the way that I experienced that, as goofy as it was just, I was so thankful that I got to experience that. I still am. So Jesus of Suburbia by Green Day. It feels like he's really speaking to you while you're like that's your life, right? And Jesus of Suburbia, like I grew up in the suburbs. It felt like he was talking right to me. So
I might have heard it before, but I don't know Green Day's songs like off by heart like that.
You probably have, yeah.
I'm excited to listen to it though. That's that's an adorable story, actually.
Yeah.
Aw. Okay. Number six. Number 6 is All the Way Around by Marvin Gaye. That's my second soul pick. And yeah, it's from the I Want You album, which this was also extremely hard for me to pick because there's a few that I like. Distant Lover from the Let's Get It On album, and I Want to Be Where You Are from this album is like really my other favorites, but I picked this one. If this was the last song that I heard before I died, like I would be good. I'd be happy. Like if this was the last song I ever heard, it would be music to my ears. The harmonies, the vocal layering, his voice is just like butter to me, and it is so. Also, like young Marvin Gaye is my absolute ultimate crush, and I like absolutely in love with him. So yeah, it's just as groovy, it's silky. The whole album is really, really good, and this song specifically, there's just a loop that comes at the end where the background vocals are just looping it over and over, and it's so nice. And
I don't think I've heard this one. What do you say it's called? Sorry.
All the Way Around.
Okay, All the Way Around.
Yeah, he has so many really good groovy songs from his in the late 70s when he was making more like kind of sexual songs. He was making more where he was making more groovy, vibey stuff, and then he started getting into more political commentary and things like that. So yeah, that's amazing. That's my pick number 6.
What I know about Marvin Gaye is pretty little, but I do know that he's like inspired generations of
he's the original
artists,
the original R&B.
So I trust that is a solid pick. But I'm excited to hear it.
Yeah, he is totally the original R&B. So yeah.
Number 6. Okay. All right.
Oh, I'm excited.
This is where we collide. So, Blonde.
Yeah.
I have so much.
I'm excited. I'm excited
Ocean,
for what you picked and what I picked.
Yeah. I really love to tell this story because if it weren't for this experience, I don't know if I would have loved Blonde as much as I do.
Mm-hmm.
But I do recall being slightly disappointed at first, and then very quickly after, I was like, okay, actually, no, I'm completely wrong. This is the best album I've ever heard.
It was because of the interludes. So when I heard like Facebook Story and the other ones, I was like, okay, what am I listening to right now? But I didn't have the artist mind. I was just.
And now we love Facebook Story.
Sure, absolutely.
Right?
I guess.
I'm sitting with her every day. I'm in her house, but she doesn't. I don't even know.
She won't even talk to me. She won't even look at me. I don't know what. I don't even remember what he sounds like. But yeah, I didn't have the respect for it back until I did a second run through, and then everything changed.
So my pick is Facebook Story. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I thought I was so
Imagine.
I was like, oh, wait a minute.
But so at the time we had this cottage, the trailer. Mm-hmm. It was really a trailer, but we call it the cottage. And Frank had been teasing all these little things leading up to the release of release of Blonde.
Yep.
And I was watching very closely
intently
to every single move,
looking for hints.
And we still had no idea when it was going to release.
No.
So we're having like a little party at the cottage, and I'm on my phone for like 5 seconds, and I see that Blonde has been released, and I had been waiting, and it had been put off so many times, and I'm like, I dropped everything in that moment.
I have to go.
I stared at the ceiling of the cottage with my headphones on. At this time, I had my a nice pair of headphones with me at all times in case this were to happen. That's how diehard I was.
No, this was a life-changing period. Everyone in this generation understands. Yeah, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. You're right. So I listened to it front to back, but it was Nights that was the one. The beat switch, I had never heard a beat switch like that. It seemed like a completely unique. It almost felt like it wasn't. He had leveled up as an artist completely from the last time, but even all those songs used to surprise me. So now he's doing it again, and he's just consistently pushing the boundary of what music can be. So that was the one song I felt like it took me on a trip, but especially I just remember listening to that beat switch and thinking, which other artist would have the balls to do this? And now you hear it happen all the time.
But it was different for the time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like people in the hip hop community were not doing stuff like that. It was very
consistent, almost textbook.
The textbook. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah. Which, I mean, it had its place, but totally. It felt like it could have continued to stay in the same place if things like this weren't happening in my mind. But for me, it's Nights.
Well, guys, we officially have one same song on the list.
No
way! Nights is my pick. Nights is also my pick. And I really went back and forth. I was going to pick Pink and White. I was going to pick White Ferrari, and then I listened to Nights, and I just remembered that that song changed my life. The bridge makes me levitate. When I listen to it loud enough, the last 2 minutes of that song is insane.
Oof. Have you ever heard bass like that in a song?
Really?
It stays in your... There's something different about it. Like, we've all heard 808s all day, but that's something else.
The way it just built, me and my friends screaming like "Rolling marijuana, that's a cheap again!" Like just every single time, no matter what. Yeah, it's insane. So many drives in the sunset to that album. It's special. Mm-hmm. We don't have to harp on it anymore, but like
no,
it deserves its spot.
100%. We've kind of decided that we're gonna give Frank Ocean and Tyler a break about talking about them.
Can't.
But we will certainly revisit and dive deep into Blonde, I think. Mm-hmm. But Channel Orange to me is a very formative album well. So picking between there's a song Fertilizer, and it's so short and there was like a subreddit. I remember it was like, what's one Frank Ocean song you wish was longer? And I said Fertilizer. I must have been one of the first people to say it on the thread because it got like a gazillion upvotes. And it was like, I was like, see, the world agrees. But
that little cassette flip, it's just not enough.
Yeah, I actually, I don't know. I think he could release Fertilizer as a full length song and it would perform just as well. I mean, he could do anything really, but
the reality is he could do anything. He could put out Dirt and I would still listen to it.
Somehow buy it. I don't know how he would sell it, but
yeah, it deserves its spot without a doubt. I was even thinking about how I even discovered Frank Ocean. It was through Odd Future, and if we're gonna go into my next pick, I guess. Like,
sure, we can.
Okay, if we're gonna go into my next pick, I really wanted to pick something from the Odd Future album because that's how I found him, which was through the song Analog 2. And that's how I found Tyler and Frank, because I just was on iTunes and I saw the Donut album and I was just like, ooh, what's this?
Yeah.
Pretty. And my life was immediately changed.
That logo is iconic.
It totally is. Yeah. I was in grade 7 on the bus to school. I was young.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, I was young and I was really diving deep really quickly. So yeah, but that's how I discovered him. So changed ever since. But my 6th pick is Find Your Wings from Cherry Bomb.
Is it 6 or 7?
I think maybe we're on 7.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah, and because
are you trying to sneak in an extra song?
Because Nights was 6. No, Nights was Nights was 6
7 for you.
1, 2. I have 3 more. I have Find Your Wings, and then I have 2 more.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, this is 7. Sorry, Nights was 6. I didn't realize it. Yeah, Find Your Wings from Cherry Bomb by Tyler. I'll make it quick, but
oh no, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's my favorite because there's Roy Ayers is on the song. He's playing the vibraphone, and if you've ever listened to the Roy Ayers Tiny Desk, it will change you.
I think I've heard some of his stuff.
He's magic, and he's still alive. Like
kind of like a jazz.
Very similar. Yes. He is like the reason why there are so many hip hop samples, so many Kendrick, Tyler, he shows up everywhere. And he's still with us. So yeah, amazing. He's playing the vibraphone in the song and it's so magical. He's like, it's just so good. The strings are really good. The female vocals are Sid and Kali Uchis, and I love them both.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Tyler thinks that he can't sing, but he's singing in this, and I love the vocals in this song too. And
I think his voice is unique enough that he can get away with stuff like that.
I agree.
I sometimes feel the same way about Mac Miller.
Mm-hmm, same.
He doesn't really have that much of a singer's type of voice, but his voice is unique enough that it works. Yeah.
And they were both two people that were very insecure about their voices, and that's what set them apart. It was so interesting. So I specifically remember listening to this song on a plane, and I was like, we were ascending, and it's so magical that it just was, it's hard to describe, but I love that song so much. It's mostly an instrumental, really, but it's my favorite song from the Cherry Bomb album, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I gotta hear that one, actually. I haven't heard it. Well, I think I've listened to everything he has, but
you have to go back
some of the
bit.
things. Yeah, you have to intentionally listen to a lot of things, I think.
Yeah. And I think if you, because obviously some of the songs are completely different vibes, so if you find those songs that are really good, I think if you go back and individually listen to them, you can enjoy them a little bit more than if you're just like going start to finish and you're being kind of assaulted by some of the like crazy shit that is in there.
That's so true. You really do have to
get a little bit
to digest.
Yeah. So I've found like the really beautiful songs, and yeah, that's one of them.
He's one. I mean, when he comes up on a shuffle, I think I hear his music better because I'm given that moment to just think about that song for that moment, you know?
Agreed.
When I was telling Dylan about this list, he had said Odd Future must be on that list, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not.
No, I know.
Spoiler alert. But him and I, we kind of discovered Odd Future at the same time, and like we're wearing all the clothes and
oh my gosh,
whatever it is. But Oldie was the one that
I almost picked
heard.
Oldie. Yeah,
we know it like you say every word.
Yeah.
We got another 10-minute song. You know what's crazy? My mom showed me Frank Ocean. She showed me Lost on Channel Orange, and I was like, you are way more hip than I thought you were.
Respect, Sherry. Big respect.
For real.
That's insane.
My mom showed me Frank Ocean.
My mom?
What? My mom? That's
wow.
wild. But then I saw him in the Oldie video, and I'm like, wait a second. They say the line about Frank,
and then he comes
in,
and
I'm like, put two and two together. I'm like, Odd Future, Frank Ocean, my mom. What?
It took me so long to figure out all of the members of Odd Future and how I would listen to them all individually, and then finally, when I was going into high school, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this group. These are my people.
Did you ever listen to what's the Haji and Left Brain group called? Hype, Mellow Hype.
No, never did.
No? Yeah, they're
completely
like, I mean, it's the same kind of vibe.
Yeah, but silliness.
At that point, I'm like, okay, what am I listening to? It's all kind of crazy music.
It's hilarious how you will ride for your favorite artist so hard. Me thinking that they're my friends, I'm like, these are my people.
I think that's what sold them. Yeah, they seem like really normal guys that anybody could get along with, and
And then I would start watching Adult Swim stuff and all these stuff, and I truly thought I was friends.
You're gonna get me a birthday gift on my birthday,
but a birthday. You're not gonna bring me a birthday gift on my birthday with a birthday.
I love that clip.
It still goes hard. Here we are going on a Tyler tangent again.
Oh wow! All right.
It's your turn, I think.
Yep.
Number 7.
Let's see if I can. We're at an hour. I don't even care.
It's okay.
We just keep rolling.
We got 3 left.
Yeah. So again, I'm going to start with the story. I worked unloading containers for so many years, and I had a ton of different partners that I worked with. You might have heard this story already, but we're gonna tell you again.
Run it back.
Yep. So we used to work inside the container, and there was like a conveyor belt that came out, and I would sort the boxes on the outside, and my coworker would work on the inside. So we had this big stereo that would play on the outside of the trailer in the warehouse, and he's usually pretty loud. He would put on like Future and Post Malone, and this was before I even knew. I think before anyone even knew who these people were. Because
wow.
He was playing their mixtapes, and I was like,
damn,
these guys are. I couldn't get behind it back then, but I could see that he was stoked on it, so I just never really got in the way. He introduced me to Life of Pablo. That's kind of how I got into Kanye. But and the whole squad that day when Life of Pablo came out, we're just losing our minds. Like, this is the best thing we've ever heard.
For real.
But there was one particular day where, and I'm thinking, like, he's always been a hip hop guy. He doesn't really listen to other stuff. Else. Yeah. And so one day I think we just had the like FM radio on, and this was pretty uncommon for us. We'd always have the aux plugged in.
Yeah.
And Dreams by Fleetwood Mac comes on, and he comes flying out of the container and like blasts the song.
Stop.
And I'm like,
he's like, yo, this is my song.
I'm like, this doesn't add up. This doesn't make any sense. But just seeing how hyped he was for that song, I sat and listened, and I remember like walking back to him when the song was over and saying like, that song was incredible. I've never even heard this before. How had I not heard Dreams by Fleetwood Mac? I probably did. It's like a couple of these other songs, but having somebody react the way they did to that song just changed the way. Yeah, and people would probably, if they had to pick my favorite song, they would probably say it's Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. But
really?
I think so.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
Yeah, it's and it opened the whole Fleetwood Mac thing. I started listening to everything they had, and their harmonies and everything about their music. Just, it seemed like a modern, like it seemed like what people are doing now in the folk world. That
honestly, that's very.
But it was being done way back then perfectly.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this, but apparently Fleetwood Mac was like, they were pissed off at each other pretty much throughout the entire making of that album.
Yep.
And it's just a masterpiece. So
yeah, I listened to I watched Stevie Nicks.
Oh,
Stevie Nicks did an interview with Oprah a long time ago, and I watched it, and she went through the whole making of that album, and it was kind of a disaster, but it turned out to be.
I gotta see that. That's cool.
Yeah, you should. It's really good. She had a crazy life. Shit. Yeah, she had a crazy life. This Stevie was. It's pretty cool to listen to her story. So, yeah. Everywhere.
Sorry.
My favorite song is Everywhere. The harmonies. That's like my dad's shower song is Everywhere. Like, oh, I wanna be with you everywhere.
No.
Yeah, just picture that. So.
Jesus.
Yeah. He loves a good.
Thanks for that. But that song is incredible.
It's a great song.
It's hard to pick, and they're one of those bands where if you could listen to Rumors, but then once you've kind of fully absorbed that, everything that you hear after it
is equally insane.
Yeah. But I think you need to start with Rumors. Like,
yeah, you do. It's the most crowd pleasing. It's amazing. It's a crowd pleaser. Yeah. I
have so many great memories with that album, but
wow, good
like
pick.
Just funny stuff, and yeah. Anyway, it's fun. I don't know what number that was, to be honest.
I'm on 8 now, I think. Yeah, I'm on 8.
Okay, I have 3 songs left. Does that sound right?
No, I have 2. No, because I go before you, so yeah, you.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's fine. Yeah.
Does it? I have 10. Are you sure you got 10?
I have 2. Yeah. 2.
Did you do 2 in a row? Maybe
6, 8, 10. I have 10, and I don't think maybe, but let's just keep going. I don't know.
Yeah, I might have lost it. Oh well.
No, this is my 9th one.
Really?
Yeah, this is my 9th one.
I don't know how I have 3 left, but
nothing's making sense right now. But whatever, I'm on number 9. Yeah.
Well, we'll understand when we watch it back.
Exactly. Sure. Number 9 is from Beach House, who are my favorite group, pretty much ever, I would say. And the song is called just PPP. And it's from their album called Depression Cherry, which is kind of just exactly what the song is. It's just like, it came out in 2015, so I was just ripe in my teen angst.
Oh yeah.
And that song just has an absolute stronghold on me, and their voices are angelic, and they're really cool to listen to. The last 2 minutes of the song is, again, like the same loop, and it just puts me in literally like a trance state when I would listen to it. It would be one of those where I would just lay in my bed and stare at the ceiling and just listen to it for so long. It just takes me
Nothing
back.
Better than that.
Yeah, it just takes me back. Me and my friend Nicole put me on Beach House, and forever grateful to her for that, because they became my favorite group. And it just reminds me of, like, there were a couple times where we skipped school, took the Go bus down to Toronto.
Nice.
And like went to the black market and went record shopping. And specifically, this record has a red velvet cover. I wanted it so bad, but I didn't have a record player, so I'm like, let's not do that. Can
we just talk about that, like those early days of going downtown Toronto for the first time? It's
really special.
Without your family? Like,
yes.
With your friends, it's the coolest experience ever.
Probably like one of the best days ever, just in my brain forever. We did it a couple times, but there were, that's such a
Toronto is a beautiful city. Now that I live in Calgary, like that is a city with like so many different, like there's so many parts to it that are just different.
Yeah.
You're seeing something different every 5 seconds.
Like some Orangeville kids going to Toronto was really special for one day, and going shopping and like walking around all the shops and going to the black market and thrifting. And we just thought we were so cool. And that was the soundtrack to to that time. So yeah, that's my ninth pick, pardon me, and love Beach House to this day. Yeah, so good. I still haven't seen them live, and I really would like to.
Oh yeah, I have a few like that as well, where
it's like it doesn't make sense why I haven't seen them yet, but
sometimes you wonder if it's for the best, because a live show is a lot of pressure to put on your favorite artists.
It's true. It's very true. My people have always come through for me, though.
This is a good transition, actually, because wow, this is a perfect transition. So I had been dating this girl for 4 years, something like that. Maybe it was even a little bit more. And for the early years of our relationship, we were like running around downtown Toronto all the time.
Yeah.
And I think I had another friend who showed me Sticky Fingers, but
I'm so excited. This is good. This is good.
Yeah. But I showed, I think it was Australia Street to my girlfriend at the time. And we immediately got tickets when we saw that they were coming to town, and they played at the Horseshoe Tavern, which if you know the Horseshoe Tavern, it's a very special place to watch a live show. It's very intimate.
Yeah.
And we showed up super early. We were the first people there, and we're like standing right up at the front of the stage. And this band opened for them called Bootleg Rascal, which I later found out is a song title of one of the Sticky Fingers songs,
I didn't know
Bootleg
that.
Rascal. And this band had been touring with them. They're both, I think they might be from New Zealand, and obviously Sticky Fingers is from Australia. They might both be from Australia, so don't quote me on that. But they, it was cool to me that they had a song named after the band that they were touring with.
Yeah.
So, and this is my favorite song on that debut album, Caress Your Soul. And I think it's the reason I love this song so much is mostly because of that experience. It was my favorite show I've ever been to. Just we're like right up at the front of the stage. The lead singer is like screaming directly in our faces. We're young and just like absorbing every moment of it. It was a pretty magical night, I will say.
That's such a good band to see when you're in that era of your life. I wish I saw Sticky Fingers.
Yeah. Now I hold them so close to my heart, that band, because they just, I don't know, they strike this like, maybe like hard times of like 19, you kind of are going through a whole bunch of different things, like trying to figure out what you're going to do with your life. And they encompass like the chill side of that, like allowing yourself to be like more relaxed, and also like playing into the angst and like getting you even more pumped up. So
I love them.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to hear that song, because it's phenomenal.
I'm excited. That's awesome. We should talk about at some point all the concerts that we've been to. I feel like I don't know any of the ones other than the ones that we were at together. That's I don't know any of the other ones you've been to.
Yeah, I got some good ones.
Cool. Okay, this is my last pick. My last one is ROS by Mac Miller from the Good AM album. I don't know.
Ooh. I do love that album, but I don't know if I've heard that.
It's this album is hype. Like, I listened to it a couple days ago because I needed to. I almost picked this song.
Really?
I almost picked 100 Grandkids.
Couldn't because it was too hype?
It was too hype. It didn't fit with the rest of my heart was in this song. I couldn't pick 100 Grandkids, but I would really belt that. I almost swore there, but I'm like I loved that song.
Yeah.
ROS is like it's the slower one. It's kind of like a love song. Oh, it's so nice. It just makes me want to cry. It's so good.
He's such a versatile artist in that way.
He is. There's so many vibes in that album. I almost picked something from Swimming. I almost picked Deno from Swimming, and man, there's so many good ones. The piano in that song is really pretty. His harmonies are really nice. The lyrics are really sweet also. It's a love song, and just listening to Mac just breaks my heart, and I just love listening to him all the time.
Do you remember where you were when you just learned that you do?
Yeah. When he died, yeah.
Yeah.
I was in my apartment in Guelph, and one of us came across it on Instagram, and we all just like cried together and listened to his music for the rest of the day. It was really special. Loved him. Big time loved him.
Yeah.
But also love all the music that he made, and I also really like the album that they put out after he was gone. Even though I don't really like postmortem albums, but I still like that one, like Circles. I don't know if you've listened to Circles a lot.
Yeah, a little bit. I hope that
I know. I feel that way.
I hope he was able to let go, like, with his spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he definitely went to heaven, that boy.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope that all that like those horrible things that he went through and felt.
Yeah.
Like,
released.
I hope he's freed from that.
Oh, he is. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. This song just specifically reminds me of like walking through the halls in my high school, which is headphones in. I would sing it. Yeah. It's my favorite song.
I love that.
That's my last pick.
Yeah. Somehow I have 2 left.
Yeah. Keep going. It's fine.
I don't know how. Okay. Let's see. So number 9 for me is Rock with Me. Rock with You. It's Rock with You. Yeah, why do I wrote Rock with Me. What am I, crazy? It's Rock with You.
It's a great song.
This is another cottage story though.
Okay.
My brother and I used to like pull up to the cottage later than everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go through like this gate and drive through, and you're like going in the direction of the beach, so you see all these people walking with floaties and all this stuff.
Yeah,
so we developed. Yeah, the vibes are good.
Mm-hmm.
So we developed this ritual of playing like a classic song as we rolled through the park. You could call it. And at one point it was "I Shot the Sheriff." That's another memorable one.
Stop.
But "Rock with You." Yeah, we just rolled down every window. We blasted it all the way.
Like,
and
just
you'd think you'd be annoying everybody there.
No, but
everybody was so happy that they were going to the beach that you're just seeing smiles all around you. And I remember "Rock with You" being this one that I just like, relax your mind. It's like a beautiful, beautiful thing. But I also grew up listening to a lot of Michael Jackson, so I really wanted him to have a pick on this list. That was just one really memorable story, but.
Ooh.
Yeah, I love that one.
I wish that I could have put MJ in there somewhere too. Because he's totally family barbecue vibes.
Yeah. Can't get enough. Like, doesn't he have a song?
I was gonna say, I'm like, are you trying to do something there, or what are you?
It worked. And then my last one. Let's start it with another story.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I had ever been to Western Canada, I came out with my dad, his girlfriend at the time, and my siblings. And I had never seen the mountains before. So it was a big deal to go out there, and it was shocking to see such a beautiful place.
Yeah.
You've experienced it now. It's like one of the most
breathtaking.
Yeah. And the first time you see it is way different than any other time. Like, I live close to the mountains now. It definitely doesn't have the same effect, but back then it was a huge deal. So we were driving on the Sea to Sky Highway to Whistler. On one side, you have the Canadian Rocky Mountains. Mm-hmm. On the other side, you have the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
And the sun was like just rising. It was a beautiful moment.
Magic.
And we kind of grew up listening to a lot of Bare Naked Ladies. And I'm sure like there's a lot of people that think this is like the goofiest band ever, but my parents love them. They saw them 4 times.
That's so funny.
I saw them one of those times, and I think I was like 8 years old. I fell asleep at the Molson Amphitheater, which was kind of funny. And we're driving down the mountains. And I just had like whatever playlist I had on, and I think it was shuffling a lot of music, so I wasn't really in control of what was playing next. Lovers in a Dangerous Time comes on, and I'm like, I've never felt more thankful to be on this earth. I'm thinking about how I'm with my family, how like this moment is just like everything I could have asked for, and I was just so thankful in that moment. I think this was God speaking to me in that moment. I'm not even exaggerating. I think it was I don't know. I felt so calm and happy with this life that I've been given. So I don't know. Lovers in a Dangerous Time is funny. I do prefer the recording over the live version, I know both are pretty popular, but the recording is my bread and butter, and I just love it. I don't know, it just has this, I don't know, very euphoric journey that you go on.
Wow, that's an
Is
amazing.
That my last song? Yeah, that was my last song.
That's an amazing last pick. Also like the story.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
It's hard to pick a Bare Naked Ladies song for me because my parents just loved so much of their music. And at some point I remember they were like flipping through the album, what do you call it? Like the lyric book.
Yes. Yeah.
And they were trying to learn every lyric before they went to the concert. So
oh my gosh.
Us kids are all listening to them learn all the lyrics. And it's just, we're memorizing it as well. Yeah.
It's ingrained.
So.
Oh, that's so special. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of also just reminds me of like our family all being together.
Yeah.
And what that was like is
special.
Some of my fondest memories. So, yeah.
Wow. Bare Naked Ladies.
Our longest episode so far.
It is. But we moved.
I think we keep rolling for a second because.
Yeah, we can't just like
cut it off. Did you end up writing? Yeah, did you end up writing honorable mentions?
Yeah. I do. I kind of shared a lot of them, but Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst, Ocean Bed from King Cruel. Do you want to stick to things from the same artist that we've already picked?
No, I think
okay.
There are so many things that I couldn't get on, like artists that I couldn't get on the list that I really wanted to. So I just kind of put them off to the side just in case we wanted to mention them.
I really wanted to pick a Kanye song, and if I could, I would have picked Celebration from the Late Registration album, and that is my favorite song of his ever, and it is it's so good. And the sample I almost love even more. I'll share it with you. I don't remember the name of it offhand, but when I discovered the sample of that song, it's so good. But yeah, I can sing that song any day, all day long. It hypes me up. One of my favorites.
My Kanye pick was FML, so. I'm
gonna need to be reminded
with The Weeknd.
I'm gonna need to be reminded.
I could go ahead and fuck my life up. I love that song.
That was your pick, for real? Okay, okay. I'm not. That's fine.
It was between that or what's the Rihanna Life of Pablo song?
I'm not gonna remember. Oh yes.
What a beautiful
melody. How you feeling right
is.
now?
Double up.
Yeah. I
don't think you'll know anything else on this list.
Okay, go
maybe
ahead.
That's part of the reason why I didn't mention them.
Okay.
Is because I kind of wanted to make it somewhat conversational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
did you?
I'm
did
curious.
You have another
though.
one you want to mention? Oh, I feel like if I'm gonna mention them, I might as well just kind of fly through them.
Yeah, just rhyme them off.
Yeah. So I had 8 Circle by Bon Iver.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite songs by him. There's a song called Angelina by a band called Pine Grove. I had watched their Tiny Desk that like changed my life.
Wow.
It's like a 2-minute song. It's very short but lovely. I don't know if you've heard a lot of Unknown Mortal Orchestra.
Not a lot, but I do know them. Yeah.
Honeybee is one of them. We have Narrow Margins by Half Moon Run.
Ooh.
Revelator Eyes by Paper Kites. Midnight by a guy named Jordan McCampa. Lost in My Mind by The Head and the Heart. And that's about it.
Cool.
So I think maybe I'll throw those in the playlist.
Yeah.
And just so you know that those came from me and the other ones that you'll mention came from you.
Cool.
Yeah.
I also had Fine Wine by A$AP Rocky, one of my favorites. Distant Lover, Marvin Gaye. I'll Be There by the Jackson 5. That is one of my favorite songs ever.
Ooh.
If I had an 11th song, that would have been what I picked.
I love that song.
Cry. Duckworth, we've already said that's one of my favorite songs. And then Note to Self by J. Cole is the credits to his Forest Hills Drive album. And I don't know, the melody's sick. It's a 10-minute long song and he just talks for the whole time, but the beginning of it is really good and I love it. It's one of my favorites. And I also really wanted to put a Sunday Service song in there because like Week and Rain.
Ooh.
So good. So good.
Yeah.
But it hadn't served me for long enough. So that's,
Fair enough.
That's it. That's what I would pick.
Cool. Oh, we have some great ones to add to the playlist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very curious
Yeah.
to hear what anybody else or what everybody thinks of this format of an episode. It's different. I'm definitely not used to having a structure when it comes to a conversation, but I think we both realize that maybe it would be helpful for future episodes to kind of do it this way.
Yeah. It was also fun to have such a kind of light topic to just go through our favorite things, and people, I mean, we love talking about what we love. So it was just fun to hear hear the stories behind it. I'm curious about what other people have too. Like, I want to hear your ride or die song, maybe share a couple of them. It's really hard to pick, I'm going to be honest, but share a couple, maybe. I'd be curious. We can shout them out in the next episode,
definitely.
maybe.
We're both obsessed with finding new music and listening to new music. So, whatever you throw in, exactly. And we'll definitely listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll even talk about it. Like, we could do like a recommendations segment.
Yeah.
We have so many ideas when it comes to the music side of things, but we also, there are visual artists that we want to talk about. There are all kinds of things, but I think we got ridiculously excited about music this past week. So I don't know if we're gonna stay on that for a little bit, but
we might.
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll roll with it.
Cool. Well, we'll be back next week. I don't know what we'll be talking about, but you'll find out.
Yeah. Tell us if we are crazy about our picks and, whatever else you can think of.
All right.
Peace.
Okay, peace.